If you're thinking about moving to Las Vegas here in Nevada, then this video is for you, because in this video I'm going to cover some of the things you should really know before you make the move to Las Vegas. Hopefully make it a lot easier with your decision making, some of the things you maybe heard or haven't heard, and also some of the things that are going to impact the future of this city. And I'm going to start right now. So the first point is going to be picking the area and finding the right area for you. And this is what I say to everyone who does reach out to me is, the most important decision, especially at the start, is going to be finding the area, especially if you are buying a home. It's so hard as well when you're out of state trying to focus on the area. A lot of people, when they are thinking about moving to Vegas, they start with Summerlin and Henderson, and both of those are really good areas. Summerlin is a master planned community, and Henderson is a city that's made up of various different communities and different types of communities. I live in Henderson myself and I absolutely love it, but we also considered Summerlin as well and some of the other areas within town. But aside from Henderson and Summerlin, there's also some really great neighborhoods and some hidden gem neighborhoods. I mean, off the top of my head, we have Southern Highlands, we have Rhodes Ranch, we have Mountains Edge, we have Spring Valley, we have Sky Canyon, we have Providence, we have Centennial Hills, we have Aliante, we have Lone Mountain, if I haven't mentioned that already. I mean, that's just off the top of my head. If you were to give me a list of things that you want and you like in an area, I can definitely recommend an area that you should check out. And one of the best ways to check out the areas is if you do have the chance to come and visit Vegas and not just stay on the strip and everything on the strip, but go and explore these areas. And if you do reach out to me on the contact details below, and you can pause the screen and you can reach out however you're comfortable, whenever you're ready. And when you do reach out, then definitely I can set you up on a self-guided tour, or I can come along with you, whatever works for you. A lot of people I find like the self-guided one. I can give you a list of addresses to put into your navigation system, and you can go and check out these neighborhoods yourself and get a real feel for it. And then once you've got those feelings, then yeah, this could be a place that we could live. It's not going to be far from where we're working, not too far from the schools, not too far from parks or local amenities. And then you get a picture of what it would be like living there. So that's super important, and that's why it's number one. The next point is going to appeal to you, especially if you're moving with a family and you have school-age kids, or it's part of the future plans for you, and that's doing the research on the schools. I remember when I was moving over here and I was looking into it with my wife, I was looking at the school district, I was looking at the ratings of the Clark County School District, the CCSD, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like rated 49 out of 50. What are we doing putting our kids in these schools? Maybe we need to homeschool them. Maybe we need to try and private school them. This has to be really bad for kids. The education must be really bad in Vegas. What's going on in that city with the teachers and the education? And then obviously I did a bit more research, as we do. And thankfully when I moved here, it was during COVID. So I had a lot more time. I was furloughed from work, so I didn't need to go in physically to work, and I could take the time to really do the research. I started to see things. I started to see that actually the CCSD is actually the 5th largest school district in the whole of the US. So you can imagine the amount of schools and the variety of schools that are going to be in there. I always say if you actually took Summerlin maybe and Henderson and maybe even Boulder City out as separate school districts, they would rank really highly compared to the rest of the country. There is an element of the schools that do bring it down for the rest of them in Vegas. So the underperforming schools really do bring down the average of the higher performing, and that affects the district as a whole. And I also think maybe there's a lot of maybe more that could go in with the other schools that could help bring them up. Some of the funding could be, spread out a bit more with the schools. But if you take it out, Summerlin, Henderson, and Boulder City, I think the schools would definitely rank highly. And then if you look at individual schools, some of those schools are definitely going to be some of the best within the country. In Henderson, we have Dal Webb Middle School, which is a fantastic middle school. We have Coronado High School, Green Valley High School, and that's super, super highly ranked. And when you look at whatever area that you're going to be moving to, you can look and see what the schools are going to be. Again, we can have this conversation offline if you want, and I can show you how to find the information. But if you look at greatschools.org, if you look at niche.com, and then revert it back to the CCSD website, that will definitely give you an idea. But my advice would be that don't be put off by those school rankings, because that doesn't show the bigger picture. That's just showing you from a top level. When you go down a few layers and look under the surface, you're definitely going to be quite happy with some of the schools here. Palo Verde in Summerlin as well. Desert Oasis down by Southern Highlands. There's some really good schools within the area. You just need to do that research I'll help you if that's what you need, parent to parent. I'll happily help you with the finding the schools and, finding the right schools that can work for you. But I definitely think that you shouldn't be put off by the overall, and you should definitely do that deeper, which is what I did. And actually then I became happier with my decision. So hopefully that's going to be the same for you. The next one is going to be crime rates. I mean, it's no secret that there is a lot of crime in Vegas. We are a large city, and if you look at the stats, it shows that we're above average on crime and also serious crime within this city. Again, though, similar to the last point on schools, if you look at it and look at it as a whole, yes, it looks really bad. Yes, it looks awful. Take it back and go a few deeper notches down. You'll see that a lot of that crime is really located, mostly around the Strip and the downtown area. When you go and look at the crime maps in Vegas, you'll see that it is mostly focused in that area. I'm not saying there isn't going to be crime in Summerlin, that there isn't going to be crime in Southern Highlands, that there isn't going to be crime in Sky Canyon, although it'll be a bit harder in Sky Canyon because most of it is gated. But the crime levels are going to be completely different to what you see that are in that main area. And obviously, the Strip and downtown area has all of our casinos, all of the nightclubs, and all of the people coming here on vacations, and they're all going to be partying, drinking too much, maybe saying things or maybe being a bit too confident, and that is always going to cause disorderly sort of problems. And so then that is going to make the crime rates maybe look a bit exaggerated. But there is crime. I'm not saying that it's crime free. There's crime all over the city, but I think the vast majority of it is really located in that one area. Henderson itself is rated as the second or third safest largest city as well in the whole of the US. And so that gives you an idea of what Henderson's like. And it literally is right next to Vegas. I mean, it's only 15 minutes away from the Strip where I'm in Green Valley. But there's still crime in Henderson as well. Henderson isn't crime free, and there definitely is crime. But knowing that it is a safe city, knowing that Summerlin is also relatively safe, knowing that some of these other communities are relatively safe when you look at crime maps, then you can sort of build a picture for yourself. And when you start factoring that in with the schools, you start seeing a little pattern that, the good schools and the lower crimes, they're all sort of around the same sort of areas. But that's why you really need to do that due diligence and take that time. And it is exciting. I was excited. It is exciting when you're moving to Vegas, but you also need to take that time to do that research. And that's why I'm here to help you with that as well. We're going to move on to the next point now, guys. But just a quick reminder, if you are enjoying this content or any of my other videos, then please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, then please subscribe and tap on the bell for notifications. It really helps my channel grow, and it doesn't cost you a thing. And I'm super thankful for all of you supporting me. Thank you so much. The next thing is going to be, what is there to do off the Strip? We all know that Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. The Strip is amazing. There's so much to do and enjoy on the Strip. I mean, we've just come back from Ed Sheeran's concert at the time of filming this, and it was an amazing concert. Getting out of it was a nightmare. I might have to revisit where I park next time, but the concert was amazing. And that's one of the benefits of living in Vegas. We have so much great entertainment to go and enjoy. It's incredible. But what is there to do off the Strip? And there's so much to do outdoors. If you like outdoorsy stuff, there's so many parks where it's walking trails, biking trails, whether you've got kids and you want to take them to the playgrounds or the splash pads, or the dogs and you want to take them to the dog parks. Lake Mead is close by, and there still is enough water in there to go and enjoy it. Lake Las Vegas is also great for some of the water things to do there as well. We've got Mount Charleston up in the north and Lee Canyon. Vegas does get snow, and Mount Charleston and Lee Canyon as well. Lee Canyon especially is always great to go and snowboarding down and enjoy some of the snow activities in Lee Canyon. Mount Charleston is beautiful any time of the year. Some really good trails there as well, some really good hikes. Mount Charleston, even in the heat of the summer, is a great place to go and escape it because you're so high up with the elevation that it actually feels cooler. And it actually is quite green. There's some nice greenery up in Mount Charleston as well. Also, we have Seven Magic Mountains, which is really great. We're not too far from California to go and enjoy all the Californian things. And then there's, local casinos in your area. We have like Red Rock has a casino, Aliante has a casino. There's one in Green Valley down in Henderson. There's one in Sunset in Henderson. There's the M Resort by Inspirada. There's another casino being built by Inspirada. There's restaurants all in your areas as well to go and enjoy. So it's all going to come down to what is entertainment for you and what type of amenities that you like. But all of the areas that I've mentioned and all of the areas that I speak about all have their own different things that you're not going to actually feel like, oh, I need to go to the strip. That's the only thing to do in Vegas is the strip. There's going to be so much more to enjoy within your neighborhoods that you actually probably won't even go to strip as often as you think. I know that's the case for me. We definitely don't go as often as I thought we would do. The next one is the drivers. The drivers in Vegas are probably some of the worst I've ever shared a road with. You know, and I've obviously come from the UK, but I've also drove in other states, and Vegas just has the absolute worst drivers. We have a lot of DUIs here as well, which, you know, factors into a lot of the accidents that we see, and that does reflect on your car insurance. I think your car insurance premiums will probably go up by just moving here and having a Vegas address. So that's definitely not a great thing. And then you need to be careful when you're driving on the road. I've never drove as defensive as I drive here. It's just unbelievable, especially at junctions where you need to turn and you've got the filter light saying you can turn. Even if they get the red light where they're coming straight onto you, I always say give it a couple of seconds, because some people just break that red light, and I see all the time at that type of intersection where you've got the filter light to turn and then you got traffic oncoming towards you. So for some reason, those cars are such in a rush to beat that light and get stuck at the next light 2 minutes down the road that they're just so careless. So just take that time and you know, make sure that everything's clear before you do cross, even if it annoys Mr. Honky Honk behind you who's also in a rush. Because as I said, the Vegas drivers, majority of them are the least considerate drivers that I've ever seen, and there's so many accidents on a daily basis in Vegas on the roads that I was driving to a showing the other day down in Southwest Vegas, and at two separate intersections, and the intersections were next to each other, there was 2 separate car accidents, big car accidents. One of them rolled over, and the other one, the police and the fire services had blocked off the intersection to take care of the next one, and it was incredible. I've never seen it like that before in my life. So definitely when you are moving here, and you probably will need a car to get around, definitely be careful on our roads, and definitely expect your insurance to spike up as well. The next one is going to be healthcare, and healthcare, depending on where you're moving from, you might feel like some of the research that you've looked at might show you that it's probably going to be a downgrade moving to Vegas, but I think there's a lot of good practitioners here. I think we could probably need more, and if you are someone who works in the medical field, I know some of my clients that have reached out to me work in the medical field and are still trying to move here. If you are in the medical field, then I'd say definitely try and move here, because we need all of the good practitioners as possible. You need to do the research, and you need to be prepared to maybe travel, and I think that's what brings our healthcare down, is that sometimes you need to travel to the good providers, and then sometimes that increases the wait time. If they're still accepting new patients, it can maybe increase the wait time. But believe me, if I had the option to go to a better provider and have a longer wait to see them, as opposed to a not so good provider but I can see them straight away, I know who I would choose. I mean, I'm very lucky that where I go for my primary care is amazing, and then also my wife, she goes to a separate one the other side of town to her own primary care, and she's now got an amazing one as well. The kids, if you've heard my story before, our kids pediatrician previously was a nightmare, and when we had our baby now 2.5 years, but she still is the baby. When we had our baby and she was jaundiced, the old pediatrician was trying to tell us that we just need to give her water. That's all she needs, just give her water. I'm sure the moms out there watching this, and maybe some of the dads are shaking their head saying, no, you do not give a newborn baby water. When we denied that and said, no, we're not going to do that, luckily my wife had a clue what she was doing, because I didn't. When we said that to the old primary care doctor, the pediatrician, he was like, not happy. He was threatening to call CPS because we were ignoring his advice and neglecting the needs of our child. Luckily, we were able to quickly switch them to the pediatrician we're in now in Henderson, and it was a godsend to find them. Super amazing. All of our 5 kids are there now, and they love going there, and they're super, super helpful and super, super supportive of our kids and our kids' needs as well, and they've got to know our kids individually. But you need to do that research. You need to really take the time. That's the only way we found our kids' pediatrician, and also the same for the kids' dentist, where they're in a really good dentist now as well. You just need to really take that time and really do that research. Again, I can help you if you need help when you are moving here. You know, if you are buying a home and you think, oh my gosh, the healthcare is going to be shocking, then, you know, I can help you with how I came to decisions and how I found my ones, and hopefully that helps you as well. But again, like the schools, don't be put off by the healthcare, because there's some really good providers here, some really bad providers, I'm not going to deny that, some also really good providers, and you just need to do the research to be able to find the right ones for you. The next point to cover is taxes. One of the great things about Vegas is there's no state income tax, which is amazing, and depending on where you're moving from in whatever state in the country, you could be saving money just by moving here, especially if you can keep your job and maybe work remotely, or if you're in California, maybe you're still going to commute, whatever works for you, then definitely you could save money just by moving here. There's also no inheritance tax, and our property tax is amongst the lowest as well within the country. It just depends on where in Vegas, and obviously new construction or if it's resale, all of those things are going to sort of play into how much your property tax is going to be. And if you want more information on that as well, then definitely do reach out. Our sales tax though is a little bit higher. It's around 8.8%, and that's where we get most of our money back. We obviously get a lot of tourists here. I know that they're trying to move away from just relying on that industry, but we do get a lot of tourists here. So then that's where a lot of the state money comes from for the state budget, is going to come from that sales tax. I do believe by not having state income tax, it is great, but I do believe that potentially maybe some of the other things in Vegas do suffer because of that. I'm not saying that by having a state income tax that's the answer, because I definitely enjoy not paying a state income tax. But I think when you look at the overall picture, that maybe has affected it. Maybe I'm wrong, who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on that one. But that's just my take. As I always say, I'm not saying I'm right or anyone else is wrong. I'm just sharing what my opinion is, and hopefully you guys are taking my opinion. But if not, then again, as I said, just pop it down in the comments below. The next thing is going to be construction. It seems like there's just constant construction going on within Vegas, and we don't have a lot of congestion, but sometimes when there is construction on the roads going on, it will make the roads more congested, and a lot of that is some of the repairs or extending the roads, which I know that we definitely need to do. And then there's also a lot of commercial and residential construction going on as well in parts of town, so some of that is going to be good. It just shows that Vegas is growing, and we still are a growing city, and that makes it an exciting place to live, because we're nowhere near the full potential and the full growth of this city. So definitely I'd say the construction can be a pain in the backside, especially when you get caught in the construction, or also if you're driving around some of the new construction homes. Look out for, make sure you don't get any nails in your car. I suffered that a couple of times now when I've been showing homes. I've ended up with a flat tire because of it, so definitely watch out for that. But other than that, take a deep breath and remind yourself that yes, it's a pain in the backside, but it's only going to be for the better of the city in the long run. And then my final point is talk about the future changes for the city, and how that are going to impact you as a potential home buyer. Well, I think that some of these changes are going to definitely see prices rise in the city in the long run, and also maybe the medium term as well. So the first thing is a spaceport. There's plans for a spaceport in Vegas. Well, just maybe 15 minutes out of Pahrump. Still not far to go for Vegas. Peter, what is a spaceport? Wow, I'm glad you asked. A spaceport is basically like an airport or port at sea where the ships or cruise ships would go. Same thing, but the idea is that you can fly to space. I know there's a few different spaceports within the country as well, and Vegas is going to have one, as I said. And the idea is that within 10 years, that you'll be able to get a flight that can take off and take you into space, and space travel can become a more commercial thing. Obviously, the prices are going to be sky high. They're going to rocket, excuse the pun, at the start, but then it will come down, just like commercial flying did and flying across the world did. I think it's exciting though. I think it's exciting that that sort of investment is going on here. There's also plans for an education facility as well, which is going to have a STEM-based education and hopefully train the next generation of space engineers and astronauts, and hopefully hope those. So if you have a child who's interested in that sort of thing already, thinking that that's going to be based in this city in the long run, or maybe that could be like a college program as well or something like that, is super exciting. Yes, it is a far away. It's going to be 10 years, but I definitely think that's one exciting thing to look after. The next future change as well is going to be the high-speed train that is going to link Vegas to California. It's not going to go quite all the way to LA. It's going to go just east of LA. but it is going to link the two places. And there's obviously a lot of commuting that goes on between Vegas and California as it is. A lot of people have made the move from California to live in Vegas, and I think it's going to help maybe more people potentially move from California to Vegas and maybe still even commute to their day job if that's what they want to do. I know in the UK, you know, 1 hour train commute was the norm for a lot of people who moved out of London onto the outskirts. So if that is something that is going to appeal to you, then that's going to be great. It's going to take, as I said, 85 minutes to do. I think it's 215 miles that the train track is going to be done. As I said, it's by Brightline. It's already in the works. I think they've already started doing the Californian side and started building some of that out as well. And it's going to hopefully take off some of the cars as well that are traveling. I know whenever I've tried to time it going to California, sometimes sometimes we go to Disney after picking up the kids from school and we get stuck in that sort of rush hour traffic and it gets quite busy. So to take some of those cars off the road, I think is going to help those people that do drive as well. And I think it's just exciting. I think it's exciting to be able to just travel to California within 85 minutes. I mean, that's definitely something to look forward to. And I think, again, that's definitely going to help the prices and the home prices here go up. Obviously, if you have a home now, or if you're thinking of buying a home, then that's going to be exciting. For those that don't have a home, then it might be a bit more tricky, unfortunately, especially if you are living in Vegas already. I don't know how that's going to look. But if you do have a home, I can just see that equity going up and up and up. The next one is the tech industry, and Vegas and Clark County, the city of Las Vegas and then Clark County as a county are being very aggressive in trying to attract tech companies here to Vegas. And obviously we already have a data center for Google. There's been a few other little tech companies that have moved here, but they're also been very aggressive trying to attract some of the top ones from Silicon Valley and places like that to move their bases and, you know, be in Vegas. They want to move away from being tourism centered. Obviously Vegas got hit really hard during COVID when there was no tourists come in for obvious reason, and they don't want to be just tourist centric now, excuse me. They want to branch out, and they see the tech industry as being a great way to diversify our workforce and also help the state's economy in the long run. And they're being very aggressive. They're offering some really great things to those tech companies, not just the likes of the lower taxes, but they're giving them really favorable business, looking after their business here as well. And again, that's just going to add more to our local economy here. So that's another thing I think is exciting about the future. And then the final one on the future is sports. And Vegas, you know, the city of Vegas really want to be aggressive like they are with the tech and having all the major sports here in Vegas live. Obviously, the Raiders moved here in 2020, which, you know, they've settled into their new home. And although they haven't been successful, I'm sure in the long run, hopefully they will be. The Golden Knights hockey team as well, they are super successful. They won the Stanley Cup, and that's incredible considering how new a franchise that they are. Also, the Oakland A's, the baseball team, there's plans for them to move here. They've already discussed at the Tropicana Hotel on the Strip, and that's where their ballpark is going to be, which is super exciting. You know, in the vicinity of the Strip, you'll be able to go and watch live baseball and live football. So that's incredible. LeBron has made no secret of the fact that he would also love to have an NBA franchise here in Vegas. So that's been muted and that's being talked about, which is incredible. It'd be great to have the NBA here as well, especially for you basketball fans. Talking about basketball, the WNBA, the Women's NBA, they have a team here already, the Las Vegas Aces. Shout out to them as well, back-to-back champions, which is incredible. Amazing achievement for them as well. And then also there's been talks of an MLS team moving here. The owners of my team back in the UK, Aston Villa, did trademark the name Vegas Villains and were in discussions with the MLS to have a team here. And they talked about a stadium being just south of the Strip, and that was going to be the plan. We just lost out. I think we lost out to San Diego. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it was maybe San Jose or San Diego, one of those two. And I believe the only reason we missed out on it was because they had the stadium ready. I've no doubt, though, knowing the owners of my club back in the UK, that they're going to go for it again. And it'll be great to have MLS here. Obviously, there's a buzz now with Messi in Miami, so it'd be great to have something similar here in Vegas. And then finally, F1. I mean, for us locals, F1 has been a bit of a pain in the backside, and maybe for anyone visiting that doesn't want to go to F1 during that time of it being here, it's a bit of a pain in the backside. But it's another live entertainment, live sport for Vegas, and I think it's a 10-year contract maybe that F1 have signed with Vegas, so it's going to be here a few more years yet, so we just have to get used to it. But it's another great event. It's a great event that's going to bring a lot more money into the city as well. Although we did spend a lot of money on it, it's going to bring a lot more money into the city. And I think it's just great that we want to be seen as the place to go for sports. It's great living in a city that is going to be sport centric as well. So let me know what you think on those in the comments. And that's it, guys. That's some things to know before you do move to Vegas. Some of those things I had to really do a lot of discovery on before I moved here. Some of it I had to learn the hard way after I moved here. So I really do hope you found it useful. If you have, then please go ahead and like the video. If you haven't already, also please subscribe and tap on the bell for notifications, and that way you'll stay up to date with everything that's happening here in Vegas and Henderson. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it definitely helps my channel grow, and I super appreciate all of you. Also, just as a reminder, if you are thinking about moving to Las Vegas or Henderson, then please get in touch however you're comfortable and whenever you're ready. All my details are down there below. As I said, take a screenshot and keep them for when the time is right for you, and I would really love to help you out with moving here. Until the next time though, guys, thank you all so much for watching. You take care.